Want to build an online course but are feeling overwhelmed by the tech? Podia makes it really simple, and today I'm going to show you how to set up an entire mini course from scratch. Even if you've never built one before, by the end of this video, you're going to see how easy it is to have a product you can start selling by the end of the day. I've helped clients set up courses to sell, and the funny part is most of them didn't need a big fancy platform or crazy funnels. That's always something that you can build into later, like the funnels, so that they sell on their own. But to start out, you don't need that. And what I love about Podia is that it is just so simple to put a course together. And that is why I recommend Podia for if you're just getting started out, because it just makes things so easy. So let's just walk through a very simple kind of 3-lesson demo course so that I can show you exactly how to put together a little mini course inside of Podia. So we're going to start by coming over here to products, and we're just going to create a new product. Easy peasy. Now you can see that they have other things besides products in here. You can create just a download offer. You can create a webinar or a coaching session or a bundle. Like, they have all kinds of things in here. But for today, we're going to start with course. If you'd like, let me know in the comments and I will do videos on each of these different types of products that you can sell inside of Podia, and we'll kind of deep dive into them all individually, because I think trying to do it all at once is going to make one really long video. And if you've been here at all, you know I don't love long videos. So let's take a look at a course. All right, so once you've named your course, then you're just going to want to click create product, and there you have it. Your product is created. Now let's start adding some content to it. So under details, this is where you're going to put things like, you can change your name if you need to. You can choose an image. So this is what's going to show up on the sales page that Podia creates for your product after you create more than one. So we can just choose, I'm just going to choose an image. Since this is just a demo product, I'm just going to choose this thumbnail that I have sitting on my desktop. This is where you would put a description. If you have categories, you'll want to put your category here. This is obviously a demo account, so I don't really have any categories, but let's say you had courses on ClickUp or courses on, Podia, or whatever it is that you teach on, and you have different categories. You could categorize them this way so that as your students or your customers are looking on your website, they could sort your courses based on the category. And you can see some more settings down here, included products. So if you're offering things a little bit different than a bundle, but if you are offering other products with this one, you can link to them here. So basically that just means when somebody buys this one, they also get access to this one. If you watched my other video a couple of videos ago, I think 2, I'll link it up here for you, then you'll know that adding certificates and things like that kind of help push people towards completion of courses, because tons of online courses just go unfinished. So if you decide to offer a certificate for completion, this is where you could upload it so that they get it as soon as they're done with all the materials. And then you can choose if you want to have comments under your lessons active or not. And then also if you want to have discussions inside your course program. And then if you have any integrations. So this would be like if you want to link to like Kit or something else, so that when somebody signs up, their information is sent over to ConvertKit for your emailing list. So that is all here in your details tab. And then once you're done, you want to make sure you hit done to save. I don't think I made any changes here. Okay, and then we're going to go to pricing. So this is where you set up the pricing for your course. They have many different options here. We're going to edit this offer or this option. So you can make it a free course, which means they just need their name and email address to sign up. You can create a wait list. So if you're creating something that's not quite ready, then you can have people sign up and then they'll get notified when the course is available. Because this is a demo account and I don't have my payment processor linked to it, it's not letting me select paid. But when you choose paid, you can choose what the price is going to be, how many payments it's going to be, how much are the payments going to be, or if it's a subscription, how much are those payments going to be and for how long. You can also add upsells to your checkout pages, which means when they're checking out for your main product, they get offered another product. This is a great way to increase your average order amount. The key thing here though is to make sure that your upsell offer is something that relates to the main offer, so that they see it as like a no-brainer add-on. Like, yes, this first part's going to get me to here, but this is going to get me the next step further. That way they'll be more inclined to add it on. After you've set up your pricing, then you can choose availability. So this is just, is it in draft mode? Is it visible? Is it available? Who can access it? those kind of settings are in here. Now let's get into actually adding content into the course. I'm going to pop back over here to the lessons tab. You can see here that there's an option to add a lesson and there's an option to add a section. So lessons are where you're going to put your actual content, and sections are where you're going to put your lessons. So lessons or sections help organize your lessons. So I'm going to start with a new section, and we're going to call this module 1. Actually, we'll call this one the welcome module. And then you'll put your text in. This isn't the actual text that goes into the course. This is just like a description for the module. You'll choose when it's going to be available or if it's going to be delayed like X number of days from access. So like if you wanted to drip your content, you could do that based on the delay. So let's say they get the welcome module and module 1 immediately, but then module 2 drips 7 days after they've joined. That means that it would be a week later. We're gonna go ahead and hit save. So now we've got this section. Now we want to add a lesson. And you can choose what kind of lesson that you want to add, but this is not as important. I would pretty much always start with a text lesson. We're gonna call this lesson. And then this is where you put your content. Now, and the reason I said that it wasn't really important which one you picked for choosing the lesson is because you can add videos and uploads to the text box regardless of if you chose that first. So you can choose. So I always recommend to do the text, and that way you can also write around it versus just having like a video in there. So let's say we're going to put a video in here. It's going to be a welcome video. You can add a video by choosing video, and this is going to want you to upload one from your computer, which you can do if you'd like. I prefer to have mine hosted as unlisted on YouTube and then put the link in here. And that way I don't have to worry as much about the length of my videos because Podia can only upload up to 5 gigs. So just if the video happens to be longer, now I do recommend shorter videos, but if the video happens to be longer or whatever, then I have it in a backup. So I'm going to grab a link from my YouTube. I'm just going to grab a link from a video, any video, just to show you how to embed it. So I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to pop back over here and choose the embed. And then here is where you can embed the video by the link. So then I'm going to pop the link in there, hit insert, and then there's the video with the text I added at the beginning. And then you can also just add more text at the bottom if you want down here. Like if you wanted to write out your lesson, if you wanted to put the transcript on there or anything like that, you could just put that down there at the bottom. I also want to show you how to add a PDF. So you can add a file. We'll click file here and then choose the file that you want to add. So I'm going to upload one from my computer. You can see that it's uploading. It shows that status, and then name it something. And I'm going to go ahead and click insert, and now it's got the little space here for you to download that file. You can also add a button if you wanted to do that, and then put a link in here. So there's a nice little button, and then you can add more text in here if you want to, or anything else that you need to add. Now, this is where you can choose your visibility. Most likely you're going to want to just have it visible to customers and then disabled, meaning that visitors in the store cannot preview this section. If you have that turned on, then that means if somebody's shopping in your Podia storefront, then they can see this lesson and as in view it. So you could definitely use that if you wanted to have like a sample lesson or something like that available for people who are trying to decide if they want to purchase. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now we've got a welcome and orientation module. We can go ahead and add like a module 2, or I guess this would be module 1. You can again put a description in here, hit save, and then add a lesson. Okay, now let's say that the video is the main content of your lesson. You can go ahead and choose the add embed. I said choose text the first time. It really can go either way, however you want to do it. But with the add embed option, it gives you a spot here to add the embed. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this and so that when we preview the course, it can show the difference in what it's going to look like. which I don't think is going to be super drastic, but we'll go ahead and put that there, and then we'll put lesson 2 demo module, or demo, we'll just do lesson 2 demo, okay. And then again, the same settings are here. While we're in here, let's look at what else we have in here. So inserted image is going to be inserted image. This is great if you have like graphs or charts or anything like that that you want to add into your lessons. That's going to just pop them right in there. Well, let's just add an image so you can see what that looks like. We're going to choose from computer. I'm just going to use the same one that I used for the thumbnail, because we really just want to see what it's going to look like in the preview. So we got image, we've got videos, we've got files. You can also do the same thing for audio. So embeds are going to be more for videos, I think, from other sources like YouTube versus it says embed codes are not supported. So you can't use an embed code, but you could embed from other sources like YouTube. YouTube's probably the most common one. And we've got the button, and then we've got a line if you want to format or just put some differentiation in there. And then you can do different headers for your text, buttons, bullets, or code blocks. All of that is in here as well. So if you wanted to do a heading 1, there you go, lesson 1. And then if you want to edit the text itself, you can just highlight it here and you'll get like a little text menu bar here that you could do to text align or make it bold, italics, all of those fun things. Highlight it. Yep, all of that is in there. All right, let's save this lesson. I need to give it a title. Now we'll save the lesson. So basically you just carry on like that. You can add another module. You can add more lessons under each module. Like you don't have to have a different section for each lesson. You could do multiple lessons in one module, but you can see though that it's very straightforward on how to add the content to the lesson. And you can add, again, you can add videos, audio, PDFs, links, text, however you want to add it, however you want to share your content. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos about how to plan out your course content, you know that I am gung-ho about making sure that you have your content outlined before you start playing around in your course platform. And that's because it's very easy to get caught up in like trying to outline it in the course platform and then it not being anything like that when you go to actually start adding content, and you spend more time doing that than working on the content, and it snowballs from there and maybe your course doesn't launch. I don't know. So what I want to show you though is that it does sometimes happen where you need to rearrange things, and that's fine. So basically though, in Podia it's so very easy. You can just drag and drop. You can move things from module to module. You can rearrange the modules if you like. It's very easy to just go in here and rearrange things if your plans change. Super easy, just like that. Being able to edit the structure and make sure that it's in a very organized way really can help your students follow the flow of your course and get the most out of it and be more inclined to finish it. Now, let's take a look at what this is going to look like for your students. We're going to hit the 3 dots. Now, when you're ready to go live, you can hit publish, but what we're going to do right now is the 3 dots and then view product. It's going to open it up in another tab for us, and this is what they're going to see when they log in. Now, it's very straightforward. That's what we want. Okay, that's what we want. When it's very crazy and busy and there's a lot of things happening, people get overwhelmed and they click away. You want it to be very clear where they're going to start. And that's really what I like about Podia, is just that it's so straightforward. So they'll come in here. You can put in the description, remember where we put description of awesome course? So this is where you could put some more direction on where to start, because it's going to show up right here underneath the title of your course. They're going to click on, they can just see the sections right here, outline, module 1, lesson 1. You can click on module 1 and just view the lessons in this section, or they can dive right into the lesson here. Here's the video. This is the little intro that we did. Here's the PDF that we did. So you click it and it opens up in another tab where then they could just download it. We put a button here, let's hang out. Click that, it opens up in another tab. So everything just shows up in here very straightforward. Go to lesson 2, here's the video again. This is the one where we put the video in the top, like we chose video, or we chose embed as the main source of the as the main content for that lesson. And so it put the video right at the very top. This is how we uploaded that image in here. So you can upload charts and graphs and that kind of thing if they go with your content. And then the text, of course, is all in here. Little bits of text that we added. So that's really just, it's so straightforward, and I don't know how many times I can say that. It's so straightforward and easy to work through, and that is a really big reason why I love this platform. You can even make your courses or your lessons full screen. Now, you might be asking me, what about brand colors? There's no way in here to update brand colors. There is. So to change the color of your courses, you're actually going to have to change them in the website settings, because Podia actually gives you a full website with their platform, which is pretty cool if you don't have one already. So we'll come over here to website. If you haven't set up the website portion of Podia yet, as you're doing this, it's going to take you through a couple of steps where you'll have to choose a color scheme, like one of their color schemes. You can go in and change it later. That's what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm going to go ahead and just click on homepage for now, and then we'll come up to design and colors. And so these are the different, I picked this kind of teal and black color scheme here, so you can see that that's been applied to the website so far. They do have other options here that you can choose from. Ooh, let's do, is that blue or purple? So, and it changes everything on the site based on the one that you're choosing. So we'll go back to base colors. So now it's got, again, the different themes. Mine is set to pale right now. So what that means, it's using the colors based on this layout. So button backgrounds are pink, like what you can see here. Paragraph links are pink, like you can see here. So this is where you would come in and change those colors, and it's going to change it across the site and the course. So now that we know buttons are pink, let's take a look at, actually let's hit done and go back to our product, and then let's just preview it again. View product, go into lesson 1, and we'll see now we have a pink button. So that's how the things change. So like your headers, because inside of here, if you didn't notice, like when you're editing it, let's take a look real quick. Go back to the editor here. When you highlight the text here, you have an option to highlight it, to actually highlight it in your course, but there's no option to change color. So the color is going to be based on what is in your website settings for text, for headers, and that sort of thing. So you could set your header 1 to be purple, and then it will be purple when you use it inside of your courses as well. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're going through this. So basically your design settings are going to be inside the website part of Podia, and then in the course, in the products, that's where you're going to just be putting in the course content, and the rest will take care of itself. All right, so I hope you found that helpful in terms of outlining or of adding content to a course in Podia. The thing that I find that trips up most people is deciding what goes where and how to structure it. That's why, again, I recommend having an outline first so that you know exactly kind of how you want your content to flow inside of your course. It's also what I help my clients with my course build one-on-one service. You just hand me the content and I will help you get it into your course platform in a way that works best for your students. The other thing most people don't realize is that you don't need 10 modules and $1,000 setup to have a very successful course. A little mini course that gets your students from point A to point B is all you need to get started. I hope that this showed you that creating a mini course inside of Podia is super easy and you can get it knocked out in a day. If you want more tutorials like this, be sure to hit subscribe. If you're still planning your course out, be sure to grab my course planning freebie. I will have the link in the description for you. And if you'd like to have me build this out for you, be sure to check out my VIP course building service. The link for that is also in the description. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up your sales page inside of Podia so that you can actually sell the course now that you have it put together. Okay, I'll see you there. Bye.